Okay, we will start today on client script overview, and then we will see in our instance also how we can utilize client script for the system or for the requirement which comes usually.
Okay.
What is client script? So client script generally manage the behavior of form fields and list in real time. So the client script execution generally happens when any execution happens on browser side, or it you can tell it on real time basically. Like you will be seeing the behavior instantly while client script is executed. So a client script generally does various things like make field read only, send one field in response to other, modify choice list option, hide or show form sections, hide field, display alert, and manage or prohibit list editing, and many more things you can do using our client script. It's not only these are mentioned, there are much more things which can be done using client script. And as I already mentioned, client script execute on browser side, so that's why it works in real time. To see the configuration form or the client script execution, how it looks like in the system. So you can see this is the form when you try to create on submit client script. So this is the trigger point which identify when to run this client script. So here it is mentioned for incident table. So for incident table on submit client script is utilized. So this is the trigger which specifies when to execute this client script. Now we have script specify what to execute. Under a script, you have to add your code, like whatever you want to do. Like you have to perform any action, or you have to set some field, get some field, or do some execution based on client side. So you can perform any type of activity under a script section. So we have script trigger, which I already mentioned as type. So earlier one on type was on submit. This is on load, rest, and this is on change client script. So these are the client script which is generally utilized while working in the system. So on load, on submit, and on change. And now we have a client script trigger order. So we have one order field. If suppose there are multiple client script on single table, so we have to execute in some order, like this client script will work first, then the other will work as second. So we can define the order for multiple client script for same table, and it works from lowest to highest. So if suppose there are three client script, order is 1 2 3, it will execute like 1 2 and 3. Yeah, so this is like about order. And a bit there are client script types also, like we mentioned earlier, on load, on change, on submit. So on load client script, what it does is like it runs when a form loads and before a control is given to the user. So this is the onload client script. Like as soon as the form is loaded, you will get the respected result whatever is performed under onload client script. So it is generally tried to change default behavior of your form. Like you don't have to perform anything, and onload client script will execute as soon as the form is loaded. So you can see here, user is selected a record to view, and then form loads, and is this client script is executed. We have got the error, and then as soon as OK is clicked on, then the user will see the complete form. So this is the example. They have provided onload client script, and they have added alert here, and they have added some random text. And now we have on submit client script. So on submit client script is like when a form is submitted, saved or updated. So at that point of time on submit client script will get executed. As soon as the form is saved, anything happens on the form while submission. So on submit client script executes. So user saves, submits or update a record. On submit client script execute and then record return to the database. So execution will happen and record will, specific things will return on the database side as well. And you can see here there are some example for on submit. They have added similar as alert. So this is basic script example which they have shown. And now we have another script type as on change client script. So script when runs on field value changes. So suppose we have multiple fields in same incident form or any form. So suppose we have to work client script based on some field changes. So suppose there is priority, category, assignment group, many fields are there, which is usually changing. So on change of any of those fields, we can execute client script. So suppose you will see user modify a value on change client script is executing and then control is returned to the user. So here you will see on change is selected and then we have to add the field name on what field change this client script will get executed. Right. So similarly, they have added again here some info message to return whether our on change client script is executing or not. All field. So here we have uh, something related to template. The on change template if a statement aborts script execution if field change due to form load or new value has no value. So this will not work while this condition is fulfilling. Field values change due to form load or new value has no value. That means the changing the on change value which you have select on change field which you have selected doesn't have any new value. So it will not work on that case. It will like about the script execution and you will see, okay, why this script doesn't work. So these are the two things that time on change client script doesn't work. So generally you will not find this situation anywhere. So there is another type of client script which is rarely used and nowadays like ServiceNow has removed this also. So I think it is already scrapped out. So we don't have to worry about it.
On sale edit has been removed by ServiceNow.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can confirm also once we can see in our instance. Because it is not used much. Yeah, it is still there. I will show you one example with that as well, but it is very rarely used because generally people are executing here and the things are executed. That's it. They people generally don't perform multiple actions under a list view of any form, any table because this execution will not work because properly because under list we cannot show all the fields of that particular table, right? We have like 20 to 25 field. Just imagine if we add all of them here and then execute client script, what will happen?
Correct.
Our data view will not look good and user will get confused what is happening with this system.
But
Okay, and
Prashant,
sometimes
but
it doesn't
but
work
Prashant,
that accurate also. Yeah.
yeah, एक query है. Like if suppose we are having client script जिसमें if the state of the incident is resolved, Okay. So if suppose any field we are making it as mandatory, suppose state is resolved, then we are making work notes as mandatory या फिर resolution notes जो भी है. Okay. तो अगर same चीज अगर हम लोग if end user is trying to update the that same incident from list view, like अगर वो state directly change कर रहा है list view से, तो वो mandatory वाला logic trigger होता है क्या?
But it will not trigger, it will not work on list layout because you are doing the field read mandatory. You
Okay.
have to go inside the form, then only you have to update. Mandatory will allow you to update only using your form view.
Form view. Okay.
Through list view, we cannot update
State.
other mandatory fields,
Mm-hmm.
like which is dependent, like you mentioned, if we change state to resolve, there is a resolution notes and resolution code as
Mm.
mandatory, right? So that
Yeah.
field will only be filled under the form.
Okay.
You can fill under cell edit also, but what usually happens, people try to add so much of resolution notes, then under list layout, how we will do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the point. Like usually the requirement or the client doesn't look that kind of requirement.
Mm.
They ask people to fill inside form only because
Okay.
resolution on our end we don't know how much lines of resolution they will add, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It could be like a step troubleshooting steps also under resolution code, right?
Mm.
So that's why like they generally don't provide that big field under list level. It is just for convenience perspective, but on salary, if I tell you I didn't utilize it in any project till now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it is not used also, and people generally don't try to think much about it because it is client side. If something has to be updated on list layout, we used to build server side things for that.
Okay.
So this is on cell edit. We have different parameters also here. They have mentioned alert sysid, table, old value, new value. So these all parameters we can get under cell edit client script. Sysid means the record sysid which we are updating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And old value, new value you can get like on change client script. It is copy to on change only, but it is on cell edit basically.
Okay.
We can get old value, new value. We can check the things also based on those values. So what all data we can see? We can we can control the platform, how it looks and behaves in web browser. Enhance the end user experience. So why it is enhancing the end user experience? Because some of the validations can be applied like read only, mandatory, visibility. So we can enhance the end user experience with that, right? Which field is
Mm-hmm.
required, which is not required for end user to be seen, right?
Mm. Yeah.
And we have client side APIs, which will be usually utilized in our client script. So we have gform, we have guser. So gform means glide form and guser means glide user. So glide form will provide the changes with related to all the uh, things executing under form. But glide user, what is glide user? Glide user is like we are getting some details for existing logged in user. We are getting some details like first name or last name. We can get using g underscore user. We can get some of the values for user like first name, last name, email, or full name you can get with this API. And G underscore scratchpad, it is used with display business rule. So which is a part of like business rule. So as soon as business rule will come, I will show you how we can execute this G underscore scratchpad. So it will be using with server side. So what happens here? Scratchpad, it is like if suppose we have to perform, we have to get some value from server side to client side while on load of the form. So we can do that as well. And that will work only on load. So we can try to perform any activity with related to server side execution.
Okay.
And now you will see gform object in client script, which I already mentioned you. What we can do, like we can customize form or we can manage form fields and their data, like info message, error message, right? And we can show field message like it is showing here in the screen you're seeing already, right? So
Yes.
this is coming using gform object. This is also coming using gform object.
Okay.
I will show you on the form how it will show. So here are more methods under client script. Like you can see get value, show, set value, clear value, add option, is new record, get section, form message, clear form message. So these are the examples. There are many more methods inside gform. So okay, so these are the
Okay.
method field which we can get for reference one. Basically, they are talking about get value. If we do get value for reference field, we might get the sysID for that, right?
Okay.
So it's just telling that. And GIF very commonly used, yeah. So it will like work a similar way. Incident priority, get value priority. So these are the example syntax. So you can see gform dot get value number here, getting number in alert, right?
Mhm.
So these are examples. So these are the clients or a reference field example, which I told you, it will return sysID for that reference field. Yeah, so this is all about client script, and then we will try to move in our system and see how these things works, which you have already seen under this slide. So you will be knowing how it works in system.
Okay.
So we have already searched for a client script, and we have multiple client script on multiple forms. So I will try to choose for problem table because incident table is already customized in my instance.
Okay.
So something will work, something will not work. So this is my problem. Uh, Let me open on multiple view. So now we will try to create client script for this form. So we will click on header and configure, and we have client script here. So you can see client script executing for this particular table. So we have new button. We will click here. So here we are type. You will see here type, and you will now you will see script field is empty here. First of all,
Yeah.
because we have not selected any type here. So we will start from onload. So you can see we have onload function triggered already, and we can write up a script here. So we will try to display some alert onload. So you will see this alert is displayed, and like this field message is shown here, right?
Okay.
Is the onboard client script. As soon as the form is created, this will first alert will come, and then as soon as I click on OK, this field message is shown, right?
Okay. Yes.
And similarly, we can do like G form. You will see a lot of method here. I will show you G form dot. See here method.
Mhm.
So these are the message, error message, info message. Error message will show in red color. Info message will show in blue color. Here you can see there are how many methods is mandatory, is new, record. These are for condition check. Set level of set mandatory, set read only. So set mandatory, we have, right? So now you will see assignment group is not mandatory here. I will reload the form again. See, assignment group is also set as mandatory, right?
Yep.
And now let me copy this. I will show you example of for other script. So now we will test for on submit one, and now I will change on submit. So suppose if I copy the same script, so you will see what will happen. Every time when you create or make some changes, you have to load the form to see the changes. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I have clicked on save. Our script has triggered. I will click on OK. It will do the rest of the things. Like assignment group was mandatory while submitting, and this field message. Why it removed here from here? Because we have changed it to on submit, and on submit thing will just do the validation. No, it will not execute such kind of thing like this. So on submit, what we used to do. So suppose on submit, what we can tell. Okay, if business service. So if We can restrict execution of the form.
Okay.
If business service is empty, so we will reload this again. And suppose already business service is empty, I will just update this record. What happened? Okay, there is one mistake here. So what we have to do, form dot get value. So we have performed gform dot get value business service. So we have get value. So together we will utilize get value of this business rule, and then we will compare it with null.
Okay.
And we can, what we can do is like we can put one alert also, like business services empty. So client, the user will know for what purpose my uh, uh, update record is cancelled. So again, we will have to reload this. Business service is not defined. Gform dot. Okay. So you will see this kind of error here, usually very basic.
Mm.
So you have to find out like what error we have done. So here I'm intentionally doing that mistake because similarly you will get mistakes while you perform it, and you will
Yeah.
see okay, where I have done the mistake. Like previously I missed get value. Now I missed the braces. Braces is very important here. If we
Mm.
are targeting any specific field, if we are declaring some variable, then you can pass it directly. Like
Okay.
you can store this field in one variable and then you can compare variable directly. You can do that way also.
Okay.
So it is, if it is basic one, people try not to create variable. But if it is bigger client script, then definitely people will try to create variables for getting values. So that is like a standard practice which everyone follows in development.
Yeah.
So suppose let me. So now you see we have got business service now, right?
Yeah.
Right. So similarly, you can provide an alert like business service is empty,
Okay.
or you have to fill the business service. Without business service, we cannot submit the record. See, the record is not submitted.
Mm.
Nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
So if I reload the form, see, it was not saved. I
Mm.
tried to save, but it didn't save. I remove this value. Now I will try to save. It will not save. It is just returned the record as false. See, it will, it is not. So this way we can generally try to restrict the form submission. Mostly this is used for on some validations, like some field is, so we have to fill that field before moving ahead. So we can try to do in on submit client script that thing.
राइट राइट बट ये मैंडेटरी वाले के लिए प्रशांत हम लोग यूआई पॉलिसी भी यूज करते हैं ना मोस्टली
Yes.
मैंडेटरी नॉन मैंडेटरी आई गेस
Yes. So when like client script comes mostly because if suppose some execution is there which is not possible under onload client script, so
ओके
then people try to use it in client script. Both places we can do read only or mandatory or visibility. We can do both places, but recommended one is UI policy only. But if we are having such kind of cases where we have to use it in our client script only, then we have to use in client script.
Okay.
There are some criteria. When you work in live project, you will get to know the difference why we are using there. Because sometime it happens we have to do a mandatory or read only based on some value, based on
Mm.
some value change, right? So
Yeah.
what people do is like people don't try to create two things.
Right.
Already people are already one person is working on same client script. Now he will create UI policy also for doing read only mandatory. So
Mm.
just for ignoring that UI policy, we will do that in same client script so that multiple configuration is not done for that table.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
So
ठीक.
suppose it is a conditional based thing. On conditional, you have to make the changes, right? So you
Mm.
have to do multiple conditions. Then what will happen? You cannot execute a UI policy. It will not work.
Yeah.
Suppose you have to execute 4 5 conditions in client script, then UI policy will not work in that case.
Right.
Okay, it will make a conflict because it runs like reverse if false. We are doing in UI policy that make some difference with UI policy client script.
Mm-hmm.
So just like how I have done the execution using this script, we have to do this execution, then only we have to do read only or mandatory. So we cannot
Okay.
do that in UI policy properly
Okay.
because there we can check either value is true, returning true or false. Only
Mm.
based on that we can do execution.
Okay.
We can perform single if condition there. But if you have to do for multiple condition, then you have to write client script only.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now next I will show you on change. Again, like on change, on submit or on load. We can do this activity under on change also, but we don't submit the form under on change. So we don't use return false or true. Now, if suppose I have select on change client set, so you have seen there is a field name enabled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now what we can do is like we can select the field here. Suppose on what field change we will do. Okay, so we will check for problem statement. So if problem statement is changed, we will show some alert or we will show some message. Okay, based on
Okay.
this field change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, short description. I will select short problem statement. On change of this problem statement, this client script will get executed. Okay. No problem. Let it be same text. Let's see what happens. Okay. So I have written on change client script for field name problem statement for this field. As soon as this field is changed, we will execute something. So let's see what will happen. Client script will execute when the form is completely loaded or value is completely executed form. Okay.
Okay.
Because sometimes it happens pages is still loading due to some connectivity issues and we will say okay client script is not working,
Mm.
so that would be connectivity issue, but uh, try to do that thing, remember that when a form is completely loaded for your execution, because this we are doing on client side browser specific, right?
Yeah.
Nothing will execute on backend. Whenever it will execute in front of your form only. Now just see what will happen here. Okay. Now you see, as soon as I'm out of that field for changing, so our on change script is executed. Okay.
Okay.
So alert is triggered, and you can see this mandatory field is done, and this field message is displayed on change of this uh, field, right? But what happens when you do on change client script? The thing is updated, but you have to save the form as well. Otherwise, changes will not work. Okay.
Okay.
So what all things? Okay. So we can execute this on change client script on load as well.
Okay.
Okay. So how you will do that? I will show you. So now you will see there is a is loading function here. You see,
Mhm.
right? So they are not returning anything while the form is loaded,
Okay.
right? If this is removed, then the client script will work on load as well, and we have to define something here to work it on load. So for example, I will save this. See, it is working on load as well, right?
Mhm.
I will click on OK. The form is loaded.
Yeah.
So very less chance will be there. You have to do that because it create conflict as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, it create conflict and confusion. So that's why this thing is mostly ignored in terms of best practices. So yeah, this is about like this on change client script, and I will tell you one more thing here, which you need to know actually. I have removed this one. Okay. Now
Mhm.
what happens? We have old value, new value also, right?
Yeah.
Now I will do the difference. Now let me change the field name for on change. I will pick for, let me pick category, easy one. Okay, category. I've selected category here. And now I will get the old value alert and I will get the new value alert. Okay. And we'll see the old value, new value together, and we can perform the execution based on those values. Okay.
Okay.
Let me reload the form again. Now I have set for on change for this field, right? You have
Mhm.
seen. Now
Yeah.
if you see current value is hardware, right?
Mhm.
But now if I change this value, so it will be old value and new value. Hardware will become old value and new value will become software, suppose. See, old value is hardware.
Mhm.
I'll click on OK, then it will show as software. and I will click on OK. It will change the field. Okay, and we have to save it to make this change to software. Okay. So on this, based on this old value, new value also, we can run in our condition side. If old value equal to this, if new value equal to this, we can perform that thing also here. And we have this control also, and we have this parameter is template, right?
Yeah.
So under is template, what is template means is like it works on template also. We have templates for every form to create. Okay, so it will check whether the client script will apply on that specific uh, template or not. Okay.
Yeah.
So template can be created for any form. So based on any selections, it has to be enabled first for that specific field. Okay, you will get the button here below of every form. It will show like pop-up. Okay,
Okay.
currently it is not enabled for this table. Otherwise it has been, it will pop up here, this side. Okay.
Yeah.
So that way the template will apply. So this client script will apply on that template as well. Why template? I'm talking because there is some pre-filled criteria for some of the tables or for some process, not for this incident problem process. There is like a process for project management, right? Where we have predefined things to be executed. So there we have our template things much, not an incident or problem side. Okay.
Okay.
And this will also be very rarely utilized, I'm telling you. Okay.
Yeah.
Most of the time these two will be utilized and the rest three will not be utilized. Control is like we will get the control for a specific field, what to do with that specific field. Okay. So if I talk about this control thing, there is not much to tell about it. You can just execute with the specific field for what you have to make get the control, right? Suppose you have to make the changes for this label, so you can utilize this control part. Generally, if we talk about in short term, it could be like DOM manipulation, right? HTML kind of manipulation, right? So you will not use it for that purpose because you will not get such kind of requirement. You have to use control or is template. Mostly time you would be using old value and new value. Why I mentioned about control and is template because you might not get confused like we are doing something with control or is template. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why it is like in different colors. You see, it is grayed out.
Okay.
Right, it is grayed out because we have to follow like best practice as well, right, for our system. So that's why we are not getting it displaying like this in uh, dark black color, right?
Yeah.
So you will not be used, don't worry. I'm not telling that doesn't mean like it is used anywhere. It is not used anywhere, if I tell you frankly.
No problem.
This is just for traditional way they are already performing it from past many years. So they are not, they haven't removed. So and most probably in future you will not see this control or is template.
Okay.
Okay, so what? Yeah, so our on salad it is pending, right? So let's try to execute something on that part as well. So on salad it. I thought it is gone because for one of the instance it was not visible.
Might be.
Okay, it might be for client maybe,
Mhm.
but it is still available on PDIs. So what field I will take? Hmm, let me take for assignment group itself. So here you will see that we have multiple different parameters. SysID is for that specific SysID record, and this table is
Hmm.
is like for that existing table. Old value, new value, like we have already seen, and callback is like what we have to execute in callback. So they have defined basically the function here, parameter they have passed, and under callback function they have written.
Okay.
So let me select first. So what we will get is we will get, we will get value, because here you will not be able to use that G form. Okay, which we have seen, right? Because we are executing this in our list view. So glide form will not work here. Okay.
Okay.
So I will change assignment group. Suppose I have select RMA approvers. See, okay. Okay. Because of this issue, let me empty this field first. Because assign to is dependent on assignment group, so
Yeah.
it's telling this user is not part of this group. So let me check what group this user is. Coordinator B is part of problem solving, so we will select problem solving under assignment group. Problem solving. Nothing happened. Okay, why it, okay, this
Get
is
it.
not finished. Assignment group. And now you will see here, okay, cell edit on assignment group. So these are dependent on this field assignment group. So it will mostly show, the suggested one will show because this user is part of only these two groups. So that's why in suggestion it is showing these two groups.
Okay.
Okay. So let me select this first. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Mm, why it didn't? GForm is working here. GForm also works. Not work really. Let's see. Why alert didn't work? We have added field name assignment group. That's the thing, like people don't use this one
Hmm.
because it is very irritating one. Okay, why it is it have, okay, some validation is already there. Okay, let me select short description. There is some validation for POC I have done on that field.
Okay.
Let me select another field. Okay. Now let me try to see. It should work this time, hopefully. See, alert is displayed.
Hmm.
Okay, so there was something on assignment group field because if you see, I have saved that group, but it is removed from here.
Yeah.
So that is like some validation or something is implemented on that. So this way we can utilize this.
And if you don't want to allow anyone to update short description, then
See, for if
hmm,
we don't want to want
give.
anyone to edit this one, we have to apply other rules, server side rules, that is access control.
From list view.
Yeah, not from list view. That is like access control rules. If you know
Mm-hmm.
ACL, we call
ACL.
it as ACL.
Okay.
So we have ACL for that, list edit ACL. Under list edit ACL, we will select this field problem statement and we will define like only admin user will able to edit this field. Rest all will not be able to edit this field. Then it will not be editable to anyone.
But I think why this client script cell edit also we can do that, like old value not equal, old value or not equal to new value, then we will use that callback function. It will abort the transaction. I think so. मैंने देखा
So
है कहीं पे मतलब सेल एडिट में.
just just imagine if we do multiple edit like this, what will happen?
नहीं मतलब अगर सपोज इफ वी आर मेकिंग द रिस्ट्रिक्शन ना, कोई एक फील्ड पे प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट है या शॉर्ट डिस्क्रिप्शन है, जस्ट वाया लाइक ओल्ड वैल्यू इज नॉट इक्वल टू न्यू वैल्यू. मैंने कहीं देखा है इसलिए मुझे शायद नॉट श्योर.
That is under old value is equal to not equal to new value. Mostly we do comparison under on change client script. But if we are making any changes on this editing side, we don't use a client script first of all.
Okay.
As a best practice, we don't use it. Okay, so if we have to restrict anything, so we have rules already defined, we can use that. We will not
Okay.
use client script. Why client script will not use? Because there might be a chance people will have a number of ways to edit it. They can open the form itself. So now what you will do, you will create one client script on cell edit and you will create one client script on change client script as well, right? Two client script will be written for same table.
Right.
And what under ACL we can define that as well. Like on backend also we can restrict problem statement. It will not be editable in list view as well. We restrict on form level ACL. So it will not be editable in list also, and it will not be editable in this form also.
Okay.
And what list edit ACL does is like, if suppose we have to make field editable under form side, we can update this field if we have opened the form. If suppose form is not opened, then people will not be able to update this short description. So we can apply list edit ACL then,
Okay.
which will
Okay.
never break, which will never break.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And that will be easy to track as well. So what is executed, because while we do the debug of any script, so you will find it very easy for tracking server side execution. Okay, so I think that would be suggested one, but On cell edit, as I mentioned, people don't use it because when people will use on cell edit, they have to use some of the client script in form level as well
Correct. Yeah.
for maintaining the consistency, right? So that's
Hmm.
this cell edit is never recommended. Like people don't use it anyway because they has better solution than cell edit.
ACL के through, right?
ACL के through. But if you see, you will not get requirement so that you will find cell edit to be utilized.
Okay. Okay.
Whenever you will get the requirement, you will not think about cell edit anytime.
Hmm.
You will think about other solution because when you work on that specific thing, you will get to know why I am telling it.
Okay.
When you get the real requirement, you will never try to use cell edit.
Hmm.
Because you have to create more configuration, then you have to justify that why you have created multiple things we can do this way, right?
Right. Right.
So that's why they are promoting much on configuration part much rather than writing so much of a script, and that too client script, because people generally uh, go away with client script. Lot of client script means form execution will be very slow, right?
Correct.
So that's why. If it is server side, then there is not much problem on UI side, right? But on
Hmm.
server side also, we must be cautious of writing multiple server side thing, right?
Ah, right.
Because server side execution, we have more flexibility. We can use conditions on same script and it can be utilized on multiple places, right?
Hmm.
But client script is something which will be executed on specific things. We cannot trigger one client script for multiple requirement, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so client script mostly people utilize when it is really required. Otherwise, people don't write client script.
Okay.
Okay, it is definitely you will write in every project, you will get chance to write client script, but mostly people try to ignore client script. If they have other solution in server side, they will implement that. If some requirement is that way, like we have to implement client script only, then we have to implement client script.
Hmm. Okay.
So that is the analyzing criteria for that, what we will do if certain requirement comes. Right. So when you will get all the knowledges about client script, UI policy, business rule, script include, then you will be easily find what to use. Okay.
Hmm.
When you will know all the concept, you will very well know what to do on what
Yeah.
required. Okay.
Okay.
So this point of time, you can try to practice for these. Then we will look for UI policy tomorrow.
Okay.
UI policy is easy. That will be finished quickly. So do you have any questions for today?
नहीं मैं प्रैक्टिस करता हूँ पहले प्रशांत उसके बाद अगर कुछ रहेगा देन विल डिस्कस टुमारो
Yeah, sure. You can try to practice and you can come back. So try to create one client script for every type and try to execute anything on your table like incident or problem. Okay.
ओके ओके
So if you have any questions, you can clear instantly. So
श्योर
practice this every day, whatever we are performing in terms of practical side. Okay. Otherwise, it will be piled up, and you will say, okay, I didn't get time to practice anything.
हाँ राइट 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 यस
So do practice on same day. The concept will be very clear.
या श्योर
Because if you practice today, tomorrow you can ask the questions also, right?
करेक्ट या
Okay. And I think this is all about a client script. So you can execute and you can come back if you have any questions tomorrow. Okay.
ओके या श्योर